Jimmy Kimmel Live is back on ABC tomorrow night after a week-long suspension that sparked debate across the nation. The network pulled the show over Kimmel's comments on the death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. You all remember that. Then late this afternoon, they reversed their decision. What made Disney execs change their minds, and what does this mean for free speech and media? Let's talk about it. Joining us now here on The Factor Uncensored, publicist Brigitte Waugh, communication strategist Andrea Brown, and political analyst Dr. Dietrich von Biedenfeld. So first of all, guys, Dr. von Biedenfeld, what do you think? Did you think finances, money? Because we heard a lot of dollars thrown around this weekend when we heard that Jimmy Kimmel was on suspension or canceled.
Absolutely. We do look at the money, but we've talked about on this show the idea that when he returns, because it was inevitable, how angry is he? And does this reverberate within the Disney crowd? Because we've got this hyperpolarization. And so if we bring him back, which we knew they were going to do, how angry is he and how much does this cut into their bottom dollar? So this was inevitable, but at the end of the day, I think this was the appropriate step. Sooner, better for Disney's bottom line. And for Kimmel, this is better as far as him having some sort of cautionary aspect to restrain himself, but not sell himself out.
All right, Andrea, will we see a different Jimmy Kimmel when he returns?
You know, I think that's interesting, and it'll be interesting to see when he does come back tomorrow. And I do think that there's going to be a level of cautiousness that he might approach. I'm hoping that he continues to be a voice and really doesn't shrink himself, because he's been a really interesting person to have on air. He's been very important to the conversations that have been had about this current administration, and I think it's well within his rights to continue to speak.
And Brigitte, when we think about him returning, do you think this was more about the viewers and were they offended by his comments, or was this the Trump administration and those who may be a part of the conservative movement who were offended?
Actually, both, because I did some research and I looked at both sides. So the Trump administration was acting like mob bosses and threatening him basically because you're taking away our freedom of speech. And comedians have come under fire ever since Trump has been in office because he's whining about people saying something about him or his cabinet. And then Jimmy Kimmel, his audience is 18 to 49. So they were upset because it's like, well, this is the person that we like to watch. They started pulling their Disney subscriptions. So like Dietrich was saying, yes, money was involved with that because they lost almost $4 billion within almost a week.
Mm-hmm. And Dr. von Biedenfeld, when we think about this occurring, and Senator Ted Cruz came forward saying, look, I think he should be terminated, but this is bad, because what if now the government goes after conservative talk show hosts? Your thoughts about what he said?
I think that transparency, when you say the quiet thoughts out loud, that becomes a problem. And we think about, you know, the idea of the torta. I'm not talking about Ted Cruz. But I am saying the idea
People have been canceled for less.
Don't get canceled.
Unfortunately, you know, the Brazoria County House is paid for. The idea is we recognize that there are different interpretations for different words and different meanings, including when Senator Cruz has used Ted instead of Raphael, but then attacked Beto for his use of the term. So, I mean, we recognize this, and I think Ted Cruz is appropriate to acknowledge the First Amendment rights and defend them, but we also recognize that I think the senatorial backlash with Senator Cruz, with the various senators from Kentucky, various ideas of conservatism, this has awakened this idea in this group to say, we don't have the unilateral backing of MAGA that we thought we did. And so they've backtracked and said, we need to do this. So Ted Cruz is 100% right this one time.
And Andrea and Brigitte, both of you in 30 seconds each, has this changed TV personalities and news people forever?
I think so. I think this is a flashpoint, and I think this is an opportunity that TV personalities have to, one, understand that there's a breaking point. There's a point that you can, a level that you can push, and there's a place that you may wind up in a position where you don't want to be.
All right, Bridget, 20 seconds.
Yeah, I think it's going to change. I mean, Ted Cruz has a podcast. Who gave him a podcast? I mean, so it's a sad, because it's a sad day for us as media people. So,
All right.
yeah.